This video is problem number 5 on de Moivre's theorem. Hello students, so after completing the problem number 4, let's start with problem number 5 on de Moivre's theorem. So here I'll be finding the nth derivative of the given function with the help of the de Moivre's theorem. So here we'll learn how to find out the nth derivative with the concept of successive differentiation and the de Moivre's theorem. So here we have y as tan inverse of under root 1 plus x square minus 1 whole upon x, and we have to find out the value of yn. Now guys, to find the nth derivative of this y or this function, if you observe, then this is the inverse function, and we do not have any standard formula to find out the nth derivative of inverse function. So what we'll do, so in this case I'm gonna convert this inverse function into a function where the nth derivative is possible, or we can directly find the nth derivative by using a formula. So let's start. So here you can see that in the bracket we have x terms, so we can do the substitutions for x. So here we'll say put x equal to tan alpha, so put x equal to tan of alpha. So by doing this we will get value of y as tan inverse of, here we will get 1 plus tan square alpha. Now guys, 1 plus tan square alpha is sec square alpha, and sec square alpha under root will give us sec of alpha minus 1 upon tan of alpha. Now guys, we'll simplify this, so we will get tan inverse of, now sec alpha is 1 upon cos alpha minus 1. This term will give us 1 upon cos of alpha minus 1 upon, this is sin of alpha upon cos of alpha, because it is a value of tan alpha. Now here I can take the LCM, so we will get tan inverse of 1 minus cos of alpha upon cos alpha, and that cos alpha will be cancelled with this cos alpha, and we will just get sin alpha in the denominator. Now guys, since I have tan inverse outside the bracket, I will try to bring tan inside the bracket, so that by the property we can cancel tan inverse with tan. So for that, what is the formula of 1 minus cos of alpha? So this is 2 sin square alpha upon 2. So guys, here we'll say therefore y is equal to, now here we have sin alpha. So guys, since we have written formula in angle of alpha by 2, I'll write for sin alpha as 2 sin alpha by 2 into cos of alpha by 2. Next we'll cancel 2 with 2, sin alpha with sin alpha, so we will get sin alpha upon cos alpha, sin alpha by 2 upon cos alpha by 2, that is tan alpha by 2. So we will get y as tan inverse of tan alpha by 2. Now guys, tan inverse cancel, will get alpha by 2, and if you see, then we have substituted x as tan alpha. So from here if I find the value, so value of alpha will be tan inverse of x, so alpha is tan inverse of x. So here I'll say therefore y is equal to 1 upon 2 into alpha, which is tan inverse of x. So guys, this is the value of y. Now from this value we will find out the value of nth derivative, that is yn. But guys, if you observe again, then we got the inverse function, and for inverse function we do not have any standard formula to find out the nth derivative, and that is why what we'll do is we'll find out the nth derivative by the other approach, that is we'll find out the first derivative and then we'll see the second and third derivative, and then we can try to find out the nth derivative. So if I try to find out the first derivative, then y1, which is the first derivative, is half 1 upon x square plus 1 or 1 plus x square. Now guys, here I got the quadratic equation. So for quadratic equation we don't have any n derivative standard formula, but yes, if I convert this quadratic equation into linear factors, then we can definitely get the answer. So guys, what I'll do is I'll write this as 1 into 1 1, this is 2 upon x square plus 1. Then I'll keep this 1 by 2 outside, and this 1 upon x square plus 1 we can rewrite as x plus I into x minus I. Now guys, just observe, this is a plus b into a minus b, which is a square minus b square. So a square, that is x square, minus b square, that is I square. So I square is minus 1 and minus minus is plus 1. So we are again getting this term. So we got the linear factors, but we have to separate the linear factors to find out the nth derivative. So to separate the linear factors, either you can apply the formula of partial fraction or you can do it by the adjustment method. So I've already shown you the adjustment method in the previous videos. So we'll apply the same method over here. So I'll first write down that half as it is. Then we will write this as 1 upon x minus I minus 1 upon x plus I. Now guys, if I find out LCM of this term, then LCM of this term should be the original term again. So for that I'll do the cross multiplication and then I'll multiply the denominator. By multiplying the denominator I'll get this term again. If I do the cross multiplication, we will get x plus I into 1 x plus I, and this will be minus x plus I. So x and x will be cancelled, we'll get I plus I, that is 2i, but I want 1, so I will divide it by 2i. So by doing that we can get 1 in the numerator. So guys, this is 1 upon 4i into 1 upon x minus I minus 1 upon x plus I. This is the value of y1. And now for this we can definitely find out the nth derivative, because here we got the linear factors. Now guys, let's start to find out the nth derivative. So this is the formula. If we have y as 1 upon ax plus b, n derivative is given by minus 1 raised to n, n factorial a raised to n, ax plus b raised to n plus 1. Now guys, this value of y we are getting at y1, because if you observe 1 upon x minus I, we are getting this value at y1. So it means we are getting that, we are not getting that value at y, we are getting that value at y1. So therefore the value of yn will be shifted by one term. So that value of yn we will get at yn plus 1. So n derivative will be shifted by 1, since the value of y is shifted by one term. But guys, if you observe the question, then we have to find out the value of yn only. So what I'll do is, if I find out nth derivative of this, then I'll get yn plus 1. So instead of finding the nth derivative, I will find out n minus 1th derivative. So I will come one step back. So guys, by doing that, we will get yn as 1 upon 4i in the bracket. Now let's start. So nth derivative of this term will be minus 1 raised to n factorial. But guys, nth derivative we will get at y of n plus 1. But we want y of n value. So whatever is the value of n derivative, we will reduce it by 1. So we'll get answer as minus 1 raised to n minus 1, then n minus 1 factorial upon, now here in the formula we have ax plus b raised to n plus 1, but since we have to take one step back, it will be ax plus b raised to n, so that will be x minus I raised to n. Similarly for second term we'll get now from these two terms we can take minus 1 raised to n minus 1 factorial common, so we'll get so guys, this is the value of yn, but if you observe the question, then we want sine n theta and sine raised to n theta in the answer. So it means we have to convert these complex numbers into the polar form, because in polar form we get the cos term and the sine term. So guys, I have already covered 3-4 problems on same concept, so you can refer to it, and I will also solve this problem again. So to convert this into the polar form, what I'll do is I will imagine or I will assume the real part as r cos theta and the imaginary part as r sin theta. So here I'll say let x equal to r cos theta, because here x is the real part, and 1 equal to r sin theta. Now guys, here we can get the value of tan theta as 1 upon x or theta as tan inverse of 1 upon x. Next, here if I square and add it, we'll get x square plus 1 equal to r square, because here r square cos square theta plus r square sin square theta will give us r square. So therefore the value of r will be under root x square plus 1. So guys, these are the values. Now what I'll do is I'll try to find out this value. So it is 1 upon x minus I raised to n. So guys, here the value of x is r cos theta and value of 1 is r sin theta whole raised to n. Now I can take r common, so we will get 1 upon r raised to n outside, and then we will get 1 upon cos theta minus I sin theta in the bracket whole raised to n. Now guys, I can take that power n inside the bracket by using the De Moivre's theorem. So that power n will multiply the angle theta. So we will get cos of n theta minus I sin n theta. Next, this 1 upon r raised to n as it is, and here we will do the rationalization, that is we will multiply the numerator and denominator by the complex conjugate of the denominator. So the complex conjugate of the denominator is cos of n theta plus I sin n theta. So guys, you must be knowing that whenever we find complex conjugate, we multiply it with the opposite sign. So we'll multiply numerator as well as in denominator. So in the denominator we'll get cos of n theta minus I sin n theta into cos of n theta plus I sin n theta. So we'll multiply numerator as well as in denominator. Now in denominator, this is a minus b into a plus b, which is a square minus b square. So guys, that will become cos square n theta minus I square sin square n theta. So guys, I square is minus 1, so that will become plus 1. So cos square n theta plus sin square n theta is 1. So it means this denominator will give us 1. So what is remaining? So here I'll write it down. So 1 upon x minus I raised to n equal to 1 upon r raised to n into cos of n theta plus I sin n theta. So guys, we got the first value. Now we'll find out the second value and then we'll subtract it. So it is 1 upon x plus I raised to n. So guys, since this is exactly same complex number in the Cartesian form, the only difference is the middle sign. We'll also change the middle sign of the answer. So we will get 1 upon r raised to n. So this plus sign will become minus. Now guys, we'll find out the yn. So these three terms will remain as it is. Now we'll subtract these two terms. So this is the first term, this is second term. If we subtract these two terms, we will get 1 upon r raised to n common. If I subtract these two terms, then this will become minus cos n theta plus I sin n theta due to the negative sign. So cos n theta and cos n theta will be cancelled, and I sin n theta plus I sin n theta will be 2I sin of n theta. Now guys, I and I cancel, so we will get minus 1 raised to n, n minus 1 factorial, 2 1s are 2, 2 2s are 4. Then this sin n theta as it is. But if you observe the answer, then in the answer we also want sin raised to n theta. Now the question is how to bring that sine raised to n theta where we have r raised to n. So I've done the same thing in the problem number 1. So guys, here we have the value of 1 as r sine theta, so we can say that 1 upon sine theta is r, or 1 upon r is sine theta. So guys, we can substitute this value over here. So that will become 1 upon, the value of r is 1 upon sine theta whole raised to n, and this is sine of n theta as it is. Now this terms as it is, this will become 1 raised to n 1, this will be sine raised to n theta which will go in the numerator. So sine raised to n theta into sine of n theta. So guys, this is the value of yn which we have proved. So here we have proved the result and we got the value of n derivative of y with the help of the concept of de Moivre's theorem from the complex number. So guys, I am sure you understood how to apply or how to use the complex number rules in the successive differentiation to get the answer. So if you really like this video, then you have to promote this video with your friends so that they can also get this wonderful explanation of the problems and they can also get good knowledge about the engineering mathematics. So guys, keep watching the videos and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, because then only you will get latest updates about our new videos. Thank you very much.